It's Mr. Bren. If he spent 6 years in medical school, he would be Dr. Bren.
I would. That's correct. Unfortunately, I'm not a doctor because I make agreements like to eat jackets and textiles and things. Smart men don't do that. But we're going to be going into Nepal. It's Singularity versus Cloud9. In terms of matchups, you know, Nepal, you see some interesting stuff come out from either teams usually, you know, composition-wise. You can see a bit of tank play on Sanctum every now and then. It's pretty good. I mean, what's your opinion coming into this fight, into this game?
So going into this, I think the desk brought up some interesting comparisons between the teams, but the thing that I really attach to is what Johnny was bringing up in regards to tank play here, because I feel like tank play has been a really big leading indicator of what team will win in matchups where all else is equal. Now, I do think in C9 for Singularity, I'm not quite sure all else is equal. I think Poppy Fresh has been somewhat hit or miss on the DPS end, and C9 probably has the better supporting staff and overall, likely the better DPS setups overall. But Fisher, I mean, he has had good games. However, if tanks really matter a lot, I do believe Singularity might have the better tank setup here being led by Christopher, and this is sort of a good battleground to take a look at that. Yeah,
most likely. I agree with you in that fact. I think tank-wise, we've seen a better play, I'd say, from the side of Singularity when it comes to Smex and Christopher. They've been turning up quite significantly, but DPS-wise, Cloud9's probably got the edge on that one. Fisher has been impressing me quite a decent amount. Poppy Fresh, like you mentioned, has been hit or miss. Still not a bad player, though. He's actually turned up more than certain players in the tournament. You know, not going to name any names, but...
Not going to name any names. All right.
What's the name that comes to your mind? Am I going to bait you into saying this? You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. ZP, don't. You don't have to answer.
No, it's all right. I'll hold on to it right now.
It's fine.
I was just thinking of the greatest basketball player of all time.
What?
Don't worry about it.
These references go over my head so often. I don't know if I'm an idiot or not. It's really confusing.
It's fine.
After these breaks between me and him, he's like, "Yeah, did you not pick up on my reference?" And it's like some obscure 1970s cartoon that was only aired on 4 select locations.
Bren, here's what I'd say here. We're both learning from each other. I'm learning UK-isms. I'm learning that it might not be a parking lot. It could be a car park. And I'm teaching you obscure American pop culture stuff from my childhood.
Yep, that's the real kicker, right?
It's give and take here between us.
I don't want to learn any of that information. I don't want to know it. I don't want it in my mind. Get it out.
You're in America right now, Bren. You've had our wonderful food. You have to absorb a little bit of our culture.
Food has been top tier, but other than that, no.
All right.
No culture. I am staying English. It's not happening.
You know what? We'll just have to
keep calling my car parks. Keep calling my pavements. I'm going to keep calling my things.
It's not a lift. It's an elevator.
That's a lift.
It's an elevator. But speaking of elevators, there are none here on this map. Instead, we are here on the Sanctum, where C9 will be running pretty standard divey comp, but Singularity, Bren, they're coming out here with the Roadhog. But look at that, early a boop from C9, and that puts them on the right track.
Man, oh man. I hope we got a clip of that for the boop of the week, but that was a really big pickoff, to be honest. You removed Fisher from the fight pretty early on. The positioning by Cloud9 all over the point for the time being. Singularity looking to re-engage now as they move in. Right now, playing quite aggressive, just trying to work their way around Christopher's shield. Mikey forced to recall his way out of there, but eventually Smex will fall. And this again creates another opening for them.
All right, a little bit more brawling than C9 would like after the early pickoff. And you look at Singularity, stuck in a corner right now, but Mikey goes too far, doesn't see Kellex riding the wall right by him, and suddenly Singularity might actually be bringing this back. C9 doesn't feel comfortable going on the point, and Nevix, under pressure, says enough's enough. The tack visor is out, everything's in his sights. And at least Kellex was enough to give C9 presence on the point.
There you go. So is it just me, or was that a very casual tactical visor, you know? It wasn't frantic, he just used it and just looked around a little bit, you know? It was very casual, but with this, I mean, Mikey A getting these entry kills onto Christopher and whatnot, the real strength in Singularity's composition is the amount of durability they've got. You know, the Zarya shield, the Reinhardt shields, and even, you know, Roadhog with the recent changes he's had makes him a lot more durable, but the danger is Cloud9, as soon as you get these initial pickoffs, you really do lose a lot of the brunt force and brunt, I guess, success of the composition that they're trying to go for. But they do have a nerve shatter coming into this next fight, so things could be looking up.
Christopher has to turn the corner corner to be able to use it here, and he needs to get Gray into it. He can't have the Transcendence ruin his day. However, C9, they're giving this a little bit of respect. They let Singularity and their tankier setup with the Roadhog grind turn the corner, and look, Mauzasa's in trouble, but somehow gets Poppy Fresh. That shouldn't really be happening, but it did.
It did. I mean, if you get these picks, like, you're going to be in a good position. And like Singularity, they've built up 5 ultimates online. They've got 2 massive crowd control ultimates with the Graviton Surge and the Earth Shatter. But the trouble is, look at this positioning by Cloud9. It's the perfect angle to see it. It's completely spread. There's no opportunities for them to get off these great ultimates and really utilize them. And the Graviton Surge will come down, but it's going to be met with a soundbar almost instantly.
He did pick up 3 there, and C9 had to use both support ultimates at the same time. So even though Singularity is still very likely to be losing this fight, the Graviton did do its work in draining some key ultimates away from C9. However, Bren, we're going to be heading into our final fight.
Yeah, it's getting super close now, right now. I mean, Cloud9, 80% on the board. They do have Nevix with his tactical visor. Singularity need to focus Nevix down. That's one of their game plans, because they do not have a defensive support ult to really counteract this one out. And Poppy Fresh, he's built it up. Oh, he gets destroyed by the Helix Rocket. He had that post bomb. He wanted it.
Nevix did make that look casual. It has been casual. Nevix did. Oh, into the pick goes Christopher. Sometimes you got to search for Mondada's gold, as C9 right now just bending back and easily punishing Singularity here. They made it look easy, but really it was that Helix Rocket that set the tone.
Yeah, I mean, Poppy Fresh, I could see what he was going for there. He blinked in, had the pulse bomb, wanted to lay it down, collect some kills, but the prediction, I don't know if it was intentional or not. I'm going to go with yes, because it sounds fancier, but Nevix with that Helix Rocket set up the fight. Losing Poppy Fresh that early on is really vital in them winning that next engagement. But there you have it. Cloud9 going to be claiming the first round. Now we're going to be making some movements around the map, composition-wise as well. We're going to see Nevix, he's going to be throwing some shapes up. Space actually switching over to the Soldier 76 now as well.
All right, so we do have swap-ups here, and the reason why you'd see the 76 come in here to play for C9 is that you're heading to the next stage here. It is the village, and there's room here when you have control, right? You can sit in the middle. It's a pretty decent high ground, and it gives you room to just lay damage into the other team as they move in.
And as we see, aggressive composition, triple DPS, running it into Singularity's very tanky composition. I mean, this can work against them in a lot of ways, because if you don't have the finishing potential to get one of these picks, you know, at the end of the day, Cloud9 actually relied a lot on Neptuno's boops in that previous map, in that previous section of Nepal, to get a lot of damage and a lot of fights won. But straight off the bat, Poppy Fresh, he's turning up, brings down Mauzasa.
And this is a good turnabout here for Poppy Fresh, who had a little bit of rough round 1, but you see how important the first pick there is, where now, it was last round, it was C9 just being casual and picking things off the opening kill. This time it's Singularity that gets the better of them here. And now let me ask you this, Bren. What do you think of this Roadhog from Singularity? They ran it last round, they're running it here.
It's got its places. I mean, I like to joke around. I like to joke around. I like to say, you know, he's not that viable, but I do genuinely think he's quite situational. It seems that Singularity want to be running him full time, and his place in the meta hasn't really been figured out, you know, just yet. But Mikey with a pulse bomb leads it in. Christopher deleted, gone off the map, out of the equation, and now Cloud9 can move forward.
Surgical here by C9, and Singularity off of this early pickoff by Mikey, not really able to get back into this super well. Smex, of course, was looking for hooks all the while, didn't really connect it there, and oh no, Mauzasa, he dives too deep. The dwarves warned you about this, and now Singularity, they're gonna have respawns coming in. They're fired up. Here comes Zarya.
Oh, Nevix, he's got a blade. They're fired up as well. Fisher now, does he want to pull it out? He does indeed, finally, in the final moment. Sleep down. No. Good night, woken up. Oh no, someone's getting cut from the team, that's for sure, but Poppy Fresh cleans his mistakes up.
My goodness, Singularity off of Mauzasa's overextend, finding a way back into this fight, and now it's all evened up here, Bren.
It has indeed, and a defensive support ult on the side of Singularity. Kalex holding onto that sound barrier. Cloud9 are in a decent position with this, because they are working off the back of both, you know, the Transcendence and the sound barrier. They're very close to having themselves, but they did expend that Dragon Blade in the previous fight, got shut down by Mr. Beck, really putting in the damage with that sleep dart.
All right, Singularity right now holding here on the high ground, waiting for C9 to move in and attack the point. And C9, they're focusing the point right now. Mikey assassinates Christopher once more. That's a solo grab. When you really want a Soldier 76 dead, Brad, and they give up the point.
Mikey was just sat on the point. He was just sat on it. He was doing the reverse, man. He was capping that bad boy up when nobody was paying attention. And look at this, Cloud9 can just collapse onto the point. We see only 4 members of Singularity still alive. They do have an Earth Shatter on Christopher, but the question is, does he want to use it? Poppy Fresh still putting in tons of damage, and they are actually going to be able to get that recap on the way.
That fight is one of the more baffling fights I think we've seen. Where you give up the point, you solo grab, and then C9 is still disheveled to the point where they're not able to turn any of that into their favor. My word. Well, Bren, 70% to 40%. What can we expect from C9 here as they're drained?
That's from Cloud9 themselves. They've got a lot to catch up with, but if they get picks like that onto Smex, that can set things up very nicely. That takes an ultimate out of the equation as well for this. Look, no more. It's going to be the whole hog is going to be out of there. They are trading out these kills quite evenly for the time being. And right now, Cloud9 still going to be able to cap up this point. I mean, you're Umaganari there, ZP. I mean, you disagreeing with Singularity? Oh, well, I disagree with that.
Yes.
What was that, Christopher?
Yes, you should be disagreeing with Singularity. They still have plenty of people up. They don't even make a token attempt to delay. They go, please, take our point, and also take my Earth Shatter, which I will throw into the wall.
I'm perplexed.
It wasn't a good sequence of events there for Singularity.
I am absolutely perplexed by that entire series of events. Christopher,
as you well should be.
Beefing that Earth Shatter, you know, Mikey does pick up a tasty little double kill with a pulse bomb. Fisher mistiming the barriers to protect them at least. Maybe he wasn't anticipating the pulse bomb, but now we see Singularity, they want to re-engage this one.
Singularity moving in. They open up with a nano boosted hog. You don't see this blender combo all that often now, but it makes decent space. 5-on-5 here, but it's Nevix into the back. 2 kills before the blade. What can he do with it? Just slicing through Singularity here with space being the muscle. C9's going to retake. Yeah,
so it will go to 99% for the time being, but as you mentioned, they're going to be retaking this one, and it's 80% in counting. And ults-wise, Gray, he's got that Transcendence. Singularity, they can't say the same. They've got no ultimates to work with. They expended so much, and they've actually made some switches now as well. We see it's going to be the raw dive composition being ran by Singularity, which they realize they need to do, make it happen, and they do. Gray gets absolutely obliterated.
He got Mario'd. I heard the sound effect as he landed on him. He treated him like a Goomba. Now, here comes Singularity with momentum. 5-on-4, and they retake the point. C9's not even able to stay on it. Where's Gray? You have Transcendence. That late barrier comes in. You had 2 support ults to delay this. Now you're fighting the retake.
Oh, no-y.
Gentlemen, respect the point. Both teams.
Oh, no-y. That is that's hard to watch.
Yes.
Because that was so winnable by Cloud9. 2 defensive support ults to work off the back of that. Gray had the Transcendence to really keep them alive, but they just got overwhelmed. Singularity, they make the last minute switch to the dive composition. And I mean, I'd love to start to, to really see that broken down once again, because that was crazy aggression coming out from them. And Cloud9, I feel like they got completely taken off guard by the change in play style. That's one thing that isn't really talked about when teams change up these compositions, but when you go from a slow-moving, slow-paced sort of tank composition with the Reinhardts, and you just make a complete switch to the hard dive, it can throw these teams off. Well,
so here's the thing there, is that Gray got Goomba stomped early on. If he realized the burst coming in could have transcended, I'm not going to give him too much for that. I mean, look, it happens. Neptuno, though, could have barriered immediately there and bought themselves time, because normally, okay, you lose one early on, you try and save ult. In that case, it was 99 to 99.
You couldn't afford it.
You needed to at least get on the point, because you buy Gray some time to come back in and transcend. So, I don't know. That was just an awkward fight, to say the least.
Well, here we have it. It's going to be into the final round here of Nepal, as we see Singularity and Cloud9 going to be battling out for this first map win. And right now, Christopher falling incredibly low. Mr. Beck, though, trading out both the main tanks. Both the Winston's going to be disappearing for the time being.
All right, early trade out here. Both teams lacking a Ben control. This gives the Tracers a little bit more power, more room to walk around without worrying about getting zapped by a Tesla cannon. But Singularity, they get first control. C9, they disengaged so hard, they weren't on the point, and now they're fighting from the back foot.
Not necessarily a bad thing if they play it correctly, but right now Cloud9 are looking for an opening, and they're not quite finding it. In fact, Poppy Fresh, he's built up this pulse bomb, but it's going to be the Soundbarrier now committed by Cloud9. Calyx is very close to his owner. Transcendence trying to meet them head on here. Nevix using his blade is going to be setting up a lot of damage in now. Singularity are going to be trying to salvage this one with the sound barrier.
Singularity certainly trying to do so now, and there's the pulse bomb to Mozasa. Gets him out of the fight once more, and Poppy Fresh so far just dancing around the battlefield, doing enough to stall. C9's still very much in this fight, but they have to bring that all the way over. They're still losing progress with every second.
Now Fisher, he's got a blade. There's not really many ults in the Transcendence. It's used super early there to try and keep them alive. Cloud9 going to be committing to that one. Still, the kills will flow in for them as Singularity. Don't have an option to really fight this one back out. Still not in control at this point. This stagger is incredible by the side of Singularity, really just buying so much time.
And that's what you want to do here, where, okay, you lose the point, you're in a losing battle, and yes, you've powered up C9 a bit. but still, maybe one good junk rush here is going to make up for that, and you still have the progress that you had to begin with. In any case, Bren, what do you want to see from Singularity here, given that they are at a disadvantage?
So Fisher's got his Dragon Blade, but if he tries to use it into the roster of Cloud9 right now, he's going to be met with a Sound Barrier, and it's going to completely negate it. That's not necessarily a bad trade, because you're trading, you know, these two ultimates, but as it stands, the teams are going to be starting to dive straight into each other. Fisher will use the Blade. Is he going to be able to find the kills he's looking for, though?
Fisher doesn't quite get as much of the Blade, gets knocked out of the fight pretty early on. However, Singularity still able to move back in to force the Transcends out from C9. The Sound Barrier might still be in play here, but Neptuno hasn't been using it. Finally, he uses it, but it's too late to save space. He gets demeched pretty early. Both teams without a Diva, and it's a bit of a brawl here on the point here.
Oh, it's absolutely a brawl. We see the Pulse Bomb sent out, but doesn't connect. Sound Barrier's going to be used as well by Cloud9. Neptuno finally going to be using it, but Fisher, now Nevix's turn to whip out the Blade, I should say. He does find the follow-up kills there, absolutely decimating as out of Singularity, and they are going to be forced to reset for the time being. However, Singularity now have a reasonable opening. You know, Cloud9 don't have any ults online. They're about to get the Transcendence. But at the end of the day, if that gets forced out early, Singularity could be taking a superior team fight.
And who you look to get that early force out, you look to Poppy Fresh, where even if you don't kill Gray with a Pulse Bomb, just throwing it remotely near him, that should trigger him and make him use the Transcendence right there. So we see Gray hiding in the back, well protected by his Diva. I do wonder where Poppy Fresh is here, because that should be his target number one. Otherwise, Gray's just going to come in here with the Transcendence. And no, he gets Nevix of all people.
Interesting turn of events there, and getting that initial pick is going to be absolutely excellent now for the side of Singularity. You can see Transcendence used by Gray, wants to try and take this team fight to the bitter end, but now it's time for Fisher. He sends out the Blade. He's looking for targets now that Gray is out.
And Gray, as soon as the Transcendence fades, Poppy Fresh is right there. It's a 2-to-1 advantage right now in kills for Singularity, and this is a fight they can't lose. We're in overtime. If they get off the point, that's going to be it. And with the barrier, Mikey's feeling invigorated, dancing around the battlefield, still looking to put Singularity out of it, and almost gets Poppy Fresh. He barely escapes.
Absolutely incredible stuff so far, but Singularity are winning out for the time being. They get the D-Mech on the go. Overtime still ticking over. Cloud9 desperately trying to win this one out. Nevix still alive, trying to get this D-Mech onto Smex. Will find it, but the recap is coming out. It's so close right now for Singularity. They're trying their hardest. They do get the flip. But at what cost now? Because they've let Cloud9 slip away with 99% on the board. And we're going to be seeing potentially one, maybe even just two team fights left before this map is concluded.
All right, C9 right now. They have probably a 2-team fight buffer, although it might only be one, depending on how they try and set this up. It really depends on how swift they are here. However, I think they recognize time is an issue. They're going to try and take this now, so they have time for a reset DB, but Pulse Bomb early, it misses. Here comes Nevix.
Nevix with the Blade, whips it out, but Singularity going to be meeting him head on with the barrier. That's not necessarily a bad trade, but at the end of the day, Singularity are coming out in full force here. Poppy Fresh already picking up 2 kills off the back of it. Cloud9 absolutely destroyed, 91% remaining, and with that reset, with that kill, they've just sealed the deal. I can't see a foreseeable future right now with Cloud9. They might just be able to get onto it, but with the boot back, it's not going to be happening. And Singularity going to be taking map number 1.
C9, what they really needed there was more time. If they had gone with even more haste on diving in, they might have given themselves another chance for a Hail Mary attempt. However, the attempt they did, which didn't turn out well, would have been of a even lesser quality. So in any case, Singularity able to hold on, Bren. They take map 1.
Yeah, Reinforce is going to be happy with this one at least. He's got the early lead. He did predict Singularity for the time being. Everyone else had faith in Cloud9. But I mean, Singularity, they're a decent team. They've turned up very well for this tournament, even though it's, you know, this renewed roster, you know, the switch up during the middle of the season. It's been interesting to see them develop and play.
So I'm going to throw it back to the desk real quick in terms of giving you an idea. We're not throwing to the desk, but just an idea the desk had, where Johnny was mentioning that he thought tank play would be paramount and why Singularity would be able to win here.
Yep.
Did we see that in the contrast between Christopher and Malzasa?
In a lot of ways, yeah, because, you know, we see the side of Singularity. They're a lot more effective at running these Reinhardt compositions. We saw a few whiffs from Christopher. I think Smex played incredibly well. It's hard to see, right, when a Diva plays well, but you know they're playing well when the supports aren't dying to these backlines, the dive compositions that are coming onto them, because, you know, they're peeling for their supports effectively. They're using the defense matrix, a whole host of abilities. Smex has actually impressed me quite a bit over the course of this tournament, because he has been playing a lot better than, even in the World Cup, I thought, like, he's been playing at a new level with this Singularity roster, as strange as that sounds.
All right, well, the desk did set the stage. Map 1 is in the books, but there's still more to come in this series. Singularity VC9 coming back after... What? And we're back with Overwatch Contenders Season 1 EU, Cloud9 versus Singularity. And so far, it's been close, Bren, but Singularity, just a little bit of a cut above.
A little bit indeed. I mean, we were rating and ranting on about Cloud9's sort of DPS players, you know, Mikey A, Nevix, turning up for them. But it's the tank play, isn't it? We were drawing back to this. The analyst desk was drawing back to this. The tank play is realistically what we need to be watching out for. Christopher and Smex turning up as well. Mozaza and Space. Can they match them in turn as well? But we're going to be heading into Eichenwald. Eichenwald as a map, you do see quite a lot of significant tank play. You know, you can run a variety of compositions throughout the entirety of the map. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. And this was Cloud9's map pick.
It was, and I think one thing that's going to be interesting here in terms of seeing where they can fix their mistakes. I think they like Eichenwald because it's a little bit more generous to really all-in dives, particularly on point A. But what we saw happen multiple times in the last round on Control is that it felt like there were moments where Mozaza just got a little bit ahead of himself, where I know C9 is sort of all in on those dives, but you would just see him get picked off early. And then Singularity, as a result, because he was a little bit aggro, would come in and return fire to the fight.
The counter engage.
Comparatively for Christopher was much better at moving in and out of fights, not getting caught in those situations quite as often.
Yeah, Christopher, like, his Winston is actually very smart the way he plays it. I'm a big fan of his tank gameplay in general, not just because I have overwhelming affection for the UK Overwatch team, maybe a little bit of that, but not quite all of it. But still, Cloud9 are going to be switching up the compositions a little bit here. You can see Mozart are going to be running the Reinhardt space on the Zarya. Some interesting changes, so still 2-2-2, but keeping with the Reinhardt compositions. I think they maybe believe that Singularity might be coming out with something similar. I mean, it's a decent game plan. You've got a lot of durability to sort of play around the point, but Singularity, if they come out the gates with this dive composition, I feel like Cloud9 are really going to be weakened by that.
And just so you know, because we're saying dive composition, we are expecting a swap to Tracer, and there it is. We're not having the diving Torbjorn, but it's what we deserve, Bren. We deserve the diving
I'd love to see that. If you made dive Torbjorn work, go ham, you know. I say the more power to you, but they are making some switches. Singularity spot that Cloud9 are running this tank composition. They want to meet them head on. Christopher making the switch over to the Reinhardt Fisher onto the Zarya. It's going to be triple tank by Singularity.
Bren, we both know Christopher. He says, I want this fight. I want him Reinhardt.
He wants the game.
He's pumped right now. We saw him at World Cup, but Mikey gets to the back line, takes down Kelix. The front line doesn't really matter as much there, and Christopher, you might have wanted that fight, but C9 sure finished it, and that's going to be a successful early defense. Yeah,
great counter-engage by Cloud9. Again, they backed off perfectly. Christopher was desperate to take the fight. He was running all the way in with the speed boost, but that just left him completely segregated from the rest of his team, you know, backing off from there. The shield couldn't cover everything. They managed to get picked off into the back lines, but here we go. Going in for round 2 now as we see them trying to take this.
Might see, oh no, again? Fisher, he goes too deep. He was Discord orbed. He didn't think it would be that much damage, and guess what? It was. He's just picked off immediately, Bren. But I think we might be seeing a nano-boosted Christopher to really unleash the beast here in a moment.
Where is this place that we are in? Oh, it's here. Okay. I was like, why is Mikey A taking a 1v1 in what appears to be a children's bedroom? But no, it was the back lines of Eichenwald. Still, as you mentioned, we're going to see some big odds. Earthshatter connects. It's big. It's massive. And the sound barrier by Singularity to try and save them will succeed for the time being.
It was big, but it did knock down Kelix, and that was the person they needed to knock down. Christopher returned fire with an Earthshatter of his own, and Singularity very much could still take this fight.
Did the Yop get 8? I think he got 8. Oh, yep. No, space. The Graviton Surge is gone. It's the defense matrix has chewed that bad boy up. It's out. It's gone. And now off the back of this one, I mean, realistically, Cloud9 are going to be losing that off that engagement. I mean, space, yeah, he's built up 40% again, but troubling times. Troubling times.
Troubling indeed. And now you see Singularity getting first point. Plenty of time, too. That's a good first attack, getting it on the second major attempt. And now you see as they move forward here, that space is getting off the Zarya, going to the Diva, perhaps a little bit spirit broken off of the Grav. Yeah. But speaking of Gravs, Fisher's going to have one up in the next fight, Bren.
And this is the interesting part here, is the fact that Singularity is still running this Reinhardt Zarya composition. On this point of Eichenwald, it's particularly strange. Because, no way! The sleep down to Gray, taking the Sombra out of the fight. That's incredible stuff.
Not only will he not build up an EMP for this fight, he probably won't have it for the next fight. That's how important that pickoff was. Fueled by a sleep dart, it has completely wrecked C9's early defense here on point B. And now you're getting through an area that's very generous to the defense, effectively for free, and you can grab people when you get through this choke point here on the bridge. This is an enormous opportunity now for Singularity.
This is so sick, but I don't think Fisher's going to be wanting to go for these long-range grabs. You know, space on the Diva is a threat. The defense matrix, he sends it in. That is ballsy, and he gets nothing from it. Fisher, you absolute mentalist. What was that?
That was horrible. That wasn't good at all.
I never said it was good. I call him a mentalist, CP.
A mentalist, it's a Britishism that I barely understand. But you know what? Mental intimidation is the name of the game here, Bren, because they still won.
This doesn't make any sense. I mean, okay, they did commit a lot of ults. Christopher used the Earth Shatter. They laid it down with a couple of extras. ZP is losing his mind right now.
I actually am. What was that?
I mean, that grab was, it was something else.
It was the intimidation grab. Oh, guys, they used grab. It's fine. Everyone dive in.
The famous zoning grab. I mean, this fight's still kicking off here, ZP. The self-destruct comes into the back lines. Cloud9 are trying to commit. They use the EMP, but they're all so weak. And the EMP, it might have connected onto a few. Nevix wins out the fight for the time being, but the fight is firmly in the favor of Singularity, slamming it home. God, my goodness, what are we witnessing?
we are witnessing 6 people tear down a castle door. You know what, I'm going back to the basics here because your
mind is frazzled, I can tell. You had your hands up in the air, you were stomping around.
That last fight, just how? Why?
No,
In any case, Singularity, they've breached the castle doors with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left. And Christopher, the hammer is at the ready, Bren. He's looking for the opportunity, and he might get a good one here soon. There it is.
Incredible performance once again. I mean, he hits up 2 crucial players, Nevix and Neptuno, going down to the ground, and it does enough damage to actually bring them down as well. Popping fresh into the back lines, just really cleaning up to the best of his abilities. But Cloud9 are looking to stall this one out. The Primal Rage by Mozaza is going to be buying them a decent amount of time as he does get the D-Mech and also a kill onto the side of Kellex. So a reasonable re-engage there by Cloud9 off the back of that. That could have turned ugly very quickly.
It very well could have. So, Singularity, now they are regrouping here again. They will have a Graviton up soon, which might be used as more than an intimidation grab if Fisher has his way about it. C9, though, they go outside the castle gates. It's risky, Bren, and yet it works. They get the first 2 kills.
Yeah, and these aggressive plays are kind of what Cloud9 needs to be doing in at this stage, because they need to burn a lot of time off on Singularity. It's risky, but when it works, you know, it buys you an incredible amount of time because you really can stagger out these players. Singularity is just going to start to try to regroup here. Fisher has built up another Graviton Surge. That's going to be important to watch out for because into this next fight, Poppy Fresh is also holding onto this Pulse Bomb, so we're going to see some magic anytime now.
All right, Fisher moving his way in. Christopher, the beast is unleashed, gets the nano boost here early on. Fisher holding on to the grab. The defensive Transcendence is out, but here comes Nevix. Defensive blade into the back, looks for the supports and connects. The healing is gone for Singularity, and they must reset.
Singularity ended up committing a few ults. In fact, both the support ults were committed in that entire fight. The Nano Boost and the Sound Barrier, and they got absolutely nothing from it. Cloud9 going to be happy with this one, still defending on for now. And Poppy Fresh ended up committing the Pulse one pretty early on, but he's already 85% up to a new one. So this Big Bang combo will be coming next. Cloud9 do have the counter engage for it though. This Sound Barrier is going to be critical. If Neptuno gets picked off, however, that's the win condition for Singularity.
And this is where you just need to watch Fisher, right? He's already going out pretty aggressively relative to the rest of his team. Goes beyond the shield, drops the grab, but how many did he get in there? It's just Mozaza going, why me? As he gets blown to smithereens. But that's a heavy tank ult investment there for 1 kill. However, Singularity still in this fight. Poppy Fresh gets his opposing number, and now Singularity's working their way in here, Bren. They get the kills they need, and it might have been a heavy investment, but it worked.
It worked indeed. I mean, the Graviton Surge only connected onto Mozaza, and they did commit 2 ultimates to bring him down, but Mozaza ended up using his Primal Rage there. And still, a Singularity lead this in. They've got Christopher with his Earth Shatter available. It's going to be big. If we keep an eye on him, he's going to be swinging his hammer down any moment now. Singularity are closing this one out. Cloud9, they need to bring it down. Where are the people? Where are they? What is going on here?
Okay, they get on to push just in time, only to get Earth Shattered. Christopher cleaning house here, trying to move people off the point. The Graviton is in right now from Singularity. What a follow through! Mr. Beck with the Bionade, and that is going to finish things out. 44 seconds left on the clock as they finish.
Who needs pulse bombs when you've got big daddy plays like that? That bio grenade was filthy. That was disgusting, the amount of damage that he just did to 4 members there. And Singularity are going to be able to finish out this map. 44 seconds is the clock. And we're going to see a replay of this grab because this is, just pay attention here to Mr. Beck. This little, to completely negate the Transcendence. That's the most beautiful part about it.
No, the most beautiful part about it to me is the nano boost on the Fisher. He built up 50% of his Graviton.
That's crazy as well.
Because of that. That's actually the big play to me. It's the communication there to go, look, throw your nano boost on me. I'm a charged up Zarya. And he got a finishing Graviton from the nano boost where he would normally you wouldn't be anywhere close.
Yeah.
That's a really nice game sense adjustment there by Singularity.
Super impressive. I mean, we saw a similar thing with Poco before in the previous series with Gamers Origin. Definitely building up these quick grabs, and we see it again here. You know, Fisher is incredibly good at Zarya. It's honestly one of the main reasons I think that he was honestly picked up by this Singularity, this new Singularity roster at least, is the fact that he can flex out onto the Zarya role and build up those quick Graviton surges. But for the time being, Cloud9 are now going to be on the attack, and Singularity still going to be keeping with the tank compositions, but see a switch up. We're finally going to see some Junkrat.
Finally.
Finally. It's been so long, CP.
Long have we waited. And of course, Fisher, he's running Junkrat, of course, in the post-buff world, but let's never forget on the NA side Contenders where Taimu just brought this out beforehand, and, well, Tires were a lot slower back then.
He knew the changes were coming. He was prepping for that change-up. But Cloud9, they looked like they were going to be coming out of the gates with a Roadhog, but Space makes the switch, and it will be triple DPS coming out from Cloud9 here. We're running that Soldier 76, the Tracer, and the Genji. They're going to be opting for a different door. Even the cameraman got duped for a second then. And they're going to see if they can take this angle from a different perspective as they jump over the top.
Well, C9 not really wasting a lot of time. The people that can get over the... Oh! Wow. Yeah! That's too aggro. You were so far away from your team. Gosh. You're just asking to get wrecked by the Zenyatta at that point.
My goodness. All right. Well, off the back of that, I mean, Singularity are going to be pretty happy. This composition, the overwhelming triple DPS, it can work in certain situations, but now we see Space. He switched over to the Hog. He wants to bring it out, wants to be going for those hooks. I can kind of see where he's coming from here, but I feel like it's going to be a struggle for him to get what he's looking for when he's got to deal with Christopher's Reinhardt shield.
It'll be interesting to see how this works. I mean, we do see teams experiment more with the Hog, but Malzahsa, he's in. The rest of his team isn't with him here, and he just gets obliterated. I don't know if he's freelancing or... either way, you need your team with you.
Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle because, I mean, Space does get the DMX here onto Smex, which is actually pretty big now if Cloud9 choose to reintroduce themselves onto the map here, at least for the time being. But Fisher has built up this tire, and oh my god, man! Stop it, please! These people have families!
Do they? We can't confirm they have families. It might be entirely okay to just finish them off in cold blood.
That was honestly don't know. Filthy, though. The double kill, the mines, you can't script that.
No.
Well, you might be able to, but you can't script that because this is live.
All right, tires out here for Fisher. Into the skies, parkour. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's neither of these things. It's a tire with spikes. It goes to the back.
How does he get 2 kills? That is mental again. Fisher, he's on a mad one. I mean, I overuse the phrase a lot, but this guy is quite literally playing a character that is mentally insane. So I feel like it's correct in this case.
So that's enough to just completely stuff this push here from C9. And Bren, you look at the overall time, they've bought 2 minutes here so far. And this next push, is this their best attempt even with the 2 defensive ults?
It has to be. Right now, Cloud9 do have both the defensive support ults, but so does Singularity, and they're going to be using them in overwhelming force here. Fisher again kills Malzahsa, brings her out of the fight. Singularity and not finding the options.
Malzahsa died before the Transcendence came in there. This can't keep happening. This entire defense has been defined by Malzahsa going in ahead of his team, and even if that's a game plan, Bren, it needs to stop. Yeah. Support your Winston.
The dive is too aggressive by Malzahsa. He's died so many times when he's been coming in with the rest of his team, and I don't know if that's down to Malzahsa entirely, or if it's the fact that, you know, Cloud9 are not really supporting him as well with the defense mission. But look, again, he dives straight in. Is there anyone else in the rest of his team? There's nobody there with the rest of his team to try and help him out, but they're going to be concatenating on top with these supporters, the Sound Barrier and the Primal Rage, to really try and take this home.
He had the Primal Rage really early there. I mean, this time he's staying alive, but Nevix, he was going for the blade and he ate a breakfast of Helix rockets, not the breakfast of champions, the breakfast of dead Genjis. Ay, ay, ay.
What is this? We starting these Power Ranger impressions now?
You know, it wasn't even going for that, but sure. You know, Zordon, we need danger.
We do indeed.
Give me teenagers with attitude, because here comes a gigantic moving tire.
Fisher, I love what you can do with this. You literally just go for a wild ride and just pick up these kills. Gray gets picked off in the final moments. 30 seconds remaining for Cloud9 to do something here. It's just not working out, is it? Realistically, I mean, they used every ult in that previous fight. They got nothing from it. And Singularity still have a Transcendence, this Earth Shatter, and the South Destruct. It's looking good for Singularity right now.
I mean, Christopher just holding on to Earth Shatter going, look, guys, I'm still here. It might be easy to ignore the Reinhardt and the Shatter, but if they do, they're going to be getting a faceful hammer. Now he's going for it. Diving in. Does he drop the hammer? Under pressure. 45 HP. He's down. An opportunity now for C9 as they finally break through.
Big opportunity coming out for them right now. Tactical Visor by Poppy Fresh. Going to be trying to clean up the rest of these players. Cloud9 have dropped the ball quite significantly. The overtime finding his way all the way down. Not even a single tick on the board is what they claimed. They will fall eventually. Still, one last little baby diva onto the point will mean that it's going to be Singularity getting this full hold in effect, and they're going to be winning map number 2 against Cloud9.
So, C9 unable to get the engages necessary, and even when they picked off Christopher early, they went in such a clump that they just kind of got outflanked by Singularity there, and don't see that play the game intro all that often.
No, you really don't. Zenyatta played the game. Pretty impressive stuff here, as you can see. Good heals, actually. It was an incredible Transcendence coming out from them. supporting the Dragon Blade up quite effectively. But that was definitely a tale of the tanks. You know, it's what Reinforced predicted on the desk. It's what the analyst desk as a whole sort of agreed with. You know, Christopher, I would say, you know, grossly outperformed Malzaza when it came to it, but I wouldn't pin all the blame onto Malzaza either. I think Space wasn't really supporting him as effectively with the defense matrix as you should be when main tank is diving in. You need that defense matrix when you're diving in as a Winston, otherwise you're just going to get absolutely demolished.
All right, guys, we're going to be taking a break. When we come back, we'll be going to the desk and a triumphant